that Piper has an exciting new listing in the Caribbean that we want to hear some more about. So Piper, I'll let you take it from here and tell us a little bit about this this listing that I can't seem to take off my screen right now.
Oh, that's good. It's beautiful. I had this great guy approach me a couple weeks ago. It's a land sale, and it's at the southern tip of the Caribbean. It's on Mayru Island, and I know I'm butchering that name. It's about 2,200. It's 22 acres. And it's got two beachfronts. There's a leeward side and a windward side, and the leeward side is where all the boats are docked. I'm sure you can see that photo. I'm going to be posting all of this later, by the way. And it's prime. It's prime for hotel development. Just about anything, or it could be this, crazy compounds. It just depends on what you want to do. But the cool thing is, for 50, there's a lot of government tax breaks for anything that's over 50 rooms. So there's a lot of incentives to develop there. So, and it's going for $14,750,000. It's gorgeous.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to check out the listing when Piper posts it, because it's tough to stop looking at.
It's on my website right now, but we're going to be doing a media blitz pretty soon.
Cool. So exciting. Now getting back to the topic at hand, which everybody seems to be talking about, crypto and blockchain. I know we've had you on before because you are probably our most knowledgeable resource in that area.
One of them, Willie. One of them. We have a lot of crypto fans and partners.
Piper was there, before it was cool.
So. Yes.
I'm there when it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, I kind of wanted to dive in and just hear your story, how you got involved initially.
Oh my God. Well, I tell this a lot, but I had a buyer find me a few years ago who was looking in my area. He was looking in Manhattan Beach, he and his family. And the price point was about $3.5 million. And they had a nice little laundry list, and we hit it off. We saw a few houses, and he said, by the way, I'm going to buy this in Bitcoin. And I said, okay. And the rest is history. It took some doing. We were the second home in California to do this. The second transaction ever. The only other one was up in Tahoe, for I think about 1.6 million in 2015. And there was no information, absolutely no information on how they did it. We just kind of put the pieces together and found our team, that was willing to work with us. And we, by hook or by crook, we pulled it off. So once we did that, we did another 3 more with that buyer. And they were all different in some respects, and this is when we didn't have an escrow company that was set up to send and receive Bitcoin. So we had to figure out how we were going to do this each and every time, and and we did it. And I was so naive. I had no idea that nobody else was really doing that until I met guy by the name of Ragnar, who had started the International Blockchain Real Estate Association back in the day. And he asked me to come be on a panel in New York, with I guess it was like their second annual meeting. And, I said that I had done 4, and it was like rock star status all of a sudden. They're like, oh my God, you've done 4 of these? And I'm like, yeah, isn't everybody doing this? I don't know, And so it just kind of snowballed from there. And then I did a 5th one, and here we are. It found me.
So from that initial, transaction that obviously fueled your interest, I know that we've talked about it, you've invested in Bitcoin. What was sort of your process, and how did you become knowledgeable to the point where you understood the value, not only in the, the blockchain and how it applies to real estate, but just in the cryptocurrency and being able to get in early on and educate yourself?
Oh my God. Well, I didn't really, I felt like I didn't really have a choice. If I was going to be speaking about this, I really needed to, I had to educate myself. And it was really befriending my buyer, and he really showed me the ropes with crypto and how it behaved. At the time we started working together, it was around $760. And I thought, oh my God, that's so much. How can that's crazy. I can't get in that. I'm too late, And so by the time we closed a couple of sales, it was at 2000. And I remember we were also working closely with BitPay to get these deals done. And we had a meeting with the COO, and I'll never forget. We were in a meeting and he said, oh yeah, he was so cocky. It'll be 5,000 by the end of the year, and that was 2017. And I thought, oh, that's just nuts. I mean, how can that possibly be? And that just blew my mind. And, we all know what happened in 2017. At that point, I think it was around 2000. That's when I decided to get in, get some skin in the game, and at least, become invested in the market and what was happening. And I lost sleep that night. I bought about, I think, 5 Bitcoin at that time. And I woke up like in a cold sweat in the middle of the night. Like, what did I just do? And I wanted to take it all back, but then I saw it went up, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'll sit on it for a little bit. And then, up from there.
The rest is history.
Yep.
So what do you say to clients when you have your clients or friends or people that are saying this is becoming mainstream, it's being legitimized more and more every day, as whether it's financial institutions or other businesses sort of accept it and use it? If somebody is looking to gain knowledge, what direction do you point them in?
Oh boy. I point them to a website called blockgeeks.com. That's actually where I learned about blockchain because there wasn't a lot of resources at that time. And they've got a blockchain 101 course. I also direct them to Proppy, they're crypto certified agent, if they're an agent, because I think that we've done a great job with explaining what blockchain is, what crypto is, what tokens are, the future of tokenization, all of that. And I think even if you're not an agent and you're still interested in real estate and how crypto behaves, I think that's still a pretty good course to run through. But yeah, I mean those, and also, it's funny, I'm now chair of the International Blockchain Real Estate Association, and we just within the board members, it's a wealth of information. So whatever my client is looking for, I point them in the right direction. If I don't know the answer, I know somebody who does.
Now, Joe is in the process of selling a house. Joe, will you be accepting offers in the form of Bitcoin?
Oh, put me on the spot. No, I'm gonna say no because my wife controls the decision on what we do.
Okay, fair enough. But going back to that, I get a lot of calls from people, and they're from agents, and they're really into this, whole crypto and blockchain thing, and they're like, I just need to learn more. But I was on a call with someone today, and I don't even know if this exists, and this is why I'm asking you, Piper. An MLS for listings that people want to transact in blockchain, or sorry, in crypto.
I know that they're being developed. I've actually been approached to actually develop something, not necessarily an MLS type situation, like an IDX feed type thing. But yeah, I mean, and trust me, I've gotten, I think 2 or 3 inquiries just through my website on this too, like where can I find properties that I can buy for Bitcoin? There are a few platforms out there that I can't really vouch for because I don't know if they're legit or not. There's one that's like, I don't know, Bitcoin real estate or something like that. And I've actually tried to get a hold of them, and it's impossible. So, I know Proppy, has listings that I know, are legit. But I mean, other than you guys, there's really not much out there unless you know something that I don't.
No, and that's what I keep people ask, is there a centralized marketplace or something where I can target people that are looking for it? But
not really. I would say, always make it part of your business, but know what you're talking about so you can at least speak the language and know what the buyer's options are and know what the seller's options are. And in your state, you got to know, how to take title, all that. Right now, I just got off the phone today with a title rep from Miami, and they're kind of going through the same thing that we are here. We're trying to figure out how to convey title in a wallet to wallet transaction. Right now, we can't really do that. We can stay compliant. So, in California, escrow and title are separate. My title guy says, yeah, we can underwrite that there with a few conditions, but then my escrow guy is like, well, I've got to talk to my attorneys because I got to make sure that we remain compliant, because we're supposed to be this neutral party. So, there's some complications that come along with that. But at the end of the day, Joe, you would be taking cash. So
yes, I'm aware of that, but for the sake of the audience, I didn't want to go there. I thought Willie would ask me if, when I'm buying my house, am I going to make sure that my recordings are saved on blockchain, which I absolutely am.
Yes.
But Piper, a follow-up question before we go there. Do you think, because it's always 3 to 5 years before the market really understands the new technology or the new wave or trends. Do you feel, with regards to real estate transactions and cryptocurrency, or the use of smart contracts, which are saved on blockchain, where are we in that 1 to 6 year frame, do you think?
Oh my God. Well, funny that you should ask that now, because 2 years ago, I was giving classes and whatnot, lunch and learns on blockchain and real estate and crypto and real estate. And I was saying that we were 2 to 5 years out from seeing any real change. Well, fast forward 2 years later, I think we're still in the same place, really. I mean, there's been some tweaks here and there, and a lot of companies have gone away. But I mean, I've seen some advancements. There is a blockchain escrow company here in LA that's done a few transactions. But I mean, gosh, the adoption has been so slow, and the bear market didn't do us any favors. But now, it's especially at the beginning of 2021 with this crazy bull run, we're turning around and looking at all this again, saying, okay, this is now that these financial institutions, like Willie said, are taking shape and investing in this, it's becoming crypto is becoming a lot more legit. And then that makes us turn and look at blockchain and go, okay, well, what can we really do with this? And how do we get municipalities on board? How do we, make this like a legitimate thing for real estate? And the interest is out there, especially from realtors. And I think if we get enough realtors on board, we might be able to make some good changes.
And do you think one of the roadblocks is not having enough title or escrow people with the knowledge? Because the bull market in Bitcoin, certainly there's capital.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Really
and then I want to segue, Willie, one to a little bit different, and that's more a blockchain. And Piper, maybe you can run down the difference that, we know, but many people don't have a differentiation between crypto and blockchain. And smart contract isn't crypto. So exactly. maybe you can explain a little bit, because you're probably way better than I am, to make it easy for the audience.
Well, yeah, and I do classes, for realtors, and so it's got to be, we have to be able to explain this, like we were explaining it to, a class of mine. But yeah, I mean, I always say that you can have blockchain without crypto, but you can't have crypto without blockchain. So, crypto is, the token, that a blockchain produces basically, whether, like Bitcoin is on the Bitcoin blockchain, Ethereum is on the Ethereum blockchain, and there's all these other coins that are forks, and a lot of them are on Ethereum, and there's a few other blockchains that, are floating out there that are faster and better, then we kind of get into, proof of work versus proof of stake. I don't want to get into the weeds too much. But as far as blockchain is concerned, it is a digital form of record keeping. That's really all it is, and it's immutable. It's time stamped. You can't change it, and it's peer to peer. There's a consensus, so it keeps everybody honest, and it's almost immediate. So I feel that it's important, especially for title purposes, to have an immutable record that's up on the blockchain. Because God forbid, something happens to the building, where they're keeping paper records or microfiche or something on a server. If that, if it's destroyed in a fire or a flood or whatever, those records are gone. And you've got property owners that are vying to prove that they've got this property that they've lived in, for generations possibly. So that's a big problem. That happened with Hurricane Katrina. Katrina came along and demolished all the records, and people fought for 10, 12 years to get their property back on that. So just think, if that was all up on the blockchain, they wouldn't have had to go through all that. So that's a huge argument for that, I think.
And that's what smart records are, or smart contracts, when we hear that in press.
Yeah, and it's checks and balances too. Smart contracts in theory, you program it the way, you need it. Say if it's a real estate contract, like an RPA or something, you cannot move on to the next phase until all of these other, questions or, conditions have been met. So, that again keeps everybody honest, and nothing, I wouldn't say there's always margin for error, but it mitigates fraud. It mitigates mistakes. So it's, I think it's a win-win.
Thank you. So yes, Willie, my new home will be acquired by someone who is using the ability with a smart contract. So I have a blockchain. I have a blockchain at the end. My deed.
I think that's super cool. Yeah, and then you can get that QR code that we work on. And you just all you got to do is just snap that QR code, and you can see everything. And
it's a good thing if I have any questions, I have to explain. I'll just give them. Piper, can you explain, please?
Sure. That's fine.
No, I think it's when I do a lot of demos and I show people how everything is saved on the blockchain, and then how easy it is to access. They're like, it's like a light bulb goes off.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's like, Joe, I think we need to make a video showing somebody struggling through a Google Drive to retrieve documents and then looking it up on Proppy and just,
Well, no, I found the easiest way to explain it. Imagine every version of every edit or everything you typed saved on your Google Drive, but you could actually find it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what the blockchain will do for you.
Yeah, and you don't have to know. Say, I don't know how Google Drive works. I don't know
you don't need to know
algorithms and all that behind that. I just know that when I go, it's going to be there somewhere. But blockchain takes it one step further, and it just says, oh, you want that? Here you go. And then that's it. So to me, it's better.
Totally. So
and Willie, you probably don't remember filing cabinets anyways, right?
No, I've never used them personally, but I will say in a previous career,
Joe. Wow.
Previous career, I've been in the offices of landlords with multi-billion-dollar portfolios, and they still use filing cabinets. So
yeah.
Okay, so then you are.
Yeah.
It's kind of mind-blowing in today's day. And I think that's what makes blockchain so scary to some people, is they don't understand it because that's what they're used to. And blockchain's a big, scary word, but it's really just a digital record of everything, and it's easily accessible. Paper
can be destroyed. Yes. And most people don't realize, because I had this in my past history from where I came from, the ink on paper doesn't last forever, people.
No.
It disappears
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
And
time.
even if you scan it, you scan it into your computer, it's still on a central server, so if
Yeah.
something happens to your computer, it's gone, and yeah, you could, put it up in the cloud or, whatever, and it's up there, but, and that's something, different. If you got, if you've got your login and password, okay, great. But, that's still centralized, this is still peer-to-peer. And it's a public ledger. So I don't know how else to explain it really.
So it's like having a multiple locations in the cloud that you don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
And as a home buyer, I just have to go back to my agent or that broker and say, hey, can you pull this up? Or, someone like Proppy who would have access for me.
Exactly.
I say, hey, I want to find it. If I happen to not know where my QR code or my recorded deed copy was.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I have multiple ways to find it now.
Multiple ways. Yeah. And it's secure also. It's not like, and you can give permissions to whomever, so maybe the buyer has all of their information, but, as an agent, I can't see certain things, or as it just depends. So you can program it to where, certain people only see certain things. So, private information is kept private.
Oh, so even though they say it's a public blockchain, there is still limited access.
There can be. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, there's been some pivoting a bit from blockchain back to crypto.
Yeah.
Because the price of crypto keeps going up, people are now sitting on, paper profits, and they don't necessarily want to sell.
Right.
And now lenders are stepping into the space and allowing you to, get financing to purchase a home backed by your crypto assets. Have you seen a lot of this going on with people that have been reaching out to you with interest in transacting that way?
Yeah, there's a lot of newfound wealth, especially just in the last few months, because it's just been going crazy, and people want to know what their options are. And I always say this, people who are smarter than me and watch the market a lot closer than I do, they still think even with this dip this week, it's still going to be 10x by the end of the year. So we're talking probably 6 figures by the end of this year, and people don't want to let go of that. They want to hold on to their crypto. So so there are options now, which there really wasn't a few years ago when I was dealing with this. Excuse me. And so there are platforms that you can get collateralized loans on. They hold on to your crypto. They have control of your keys basically, and you can take out a 50, 60, 70% LTV. And the rates are a little higher, but you're not selling off your crypto, and it's not a taxable event. So whereas if you were to sell off your crypto and buy a house with it, then you're going to get taxed on the capital gains, unfortunately.
Hey, Willie, I know we're winding down, so let me do. This program does not predict or forecast future market events for both crypto or housing.
I'm not giving any kind of financial advice.
Yes, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Uncle Joe. We got to make sure we stay compliant. No, that's fascinating, and probably it speaks more to the legitimization or the adoption of crypto. As we talked about, it's been this sort of slow ramp, and it's been gaining steam, but in the last month or so, it just seems to have accelerated exponentially.
Yeah,
which is.
Yeah, and the good thing about these lending platforms, they've got competition now. Whereas a few years ago, I want to say maybe Salt Lending was the only game in town, and so their rates were just sky high, ridiculous. And we've got competitors like Celsius and Aave now, and Nexo is in there somewhere. So they've got options, and it just depends on what the best one is for them.
Got it. No, it makes sense. And then we're winding down on time, but before we let you go, so what do you see as sort of the biggest impediment to? I mean, I certainly see the biggest value in blockchain is record keeping. Why do you think people are so resistant? What do you think is the biggest impediment to that becoming kind of mainstream?
Oh, because people say it's really easy. This is the way we've always done it. Why would I need to change? You know, and it goes for realtors and municipalities, and you know, and it's just and you know, real estate is very, very slow moving at times. You know, there's all these great platforms out there that are, you know, going to get you leads and do this and do that, and we're barraged with that kind of junk every day. But I don't know, like there's a very small percentage of realtors that are kind of, you know, turning their heads and going, oh, wait a minute, what is this? And they recognize that value that they bring. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it's fear of change, honestly, that comes down to it.
No, it makes sense. And I see it every day on calls that I do myself, and people are stuck in their ways, and until they sort of have that aha moment, they're like, wait, this can make my life easier.
Yeah, it's
but-
amazing, you know, and it was funny because, like, you know, I'm on several, you know, Facebook groups, and somebody posted the other day, hey, you know, what kind of format do you guys do your offer spreadsheet in, you know, like Excel or what, like, you know, can you show me your Excel spreadsheet for multiple offers? And I'm like, wait, you're still using spreadsheets? What the, you know, couldn't believe it. So yeah, there's so many different, you know, and I actually said, you should go to proppy.com.
we always appreciate that.
Of course, always here to help.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Piper, this has been fun as usual.
Great.
I'm sure we'll have you back on again soon. Everybody needs to go check out Piper's new listing as well. And Joe, thanks for
Where's that website, Piper?
Oh, the cryptorealtygroup.com. And it's under listings, my new listing. I'm about to put some more up there too. But yeah, that's my star listing right now.
Thank you. And thank you, William.
Yes, thank you guys. Always
Thank
a
you,
pleasure.
Joe. Yep. Thanks, guys. And now everybody else can stay tuned. My colleague Veli is going to jump on and take you through some product updates of the platform.
Thanks.
Bye.